The quietest minds often hear what the loudest miss. Some call it a gut feeling, others call it a hunch, but for Sigma males it's neither guesswork nor magic. It's a sixth sense sharpened by silence and solitude. While the world shouts, the Sigma listens, and what he hears would terrify most people. Here's a man who doesn't need crystal balls or tarot cards. His intuition isn't woo-woo, it's weaponized pattern recognition fused with ruthless observation. Studies have shown that introverts are more likely to notice fine details and process information deeply. Now add independence, detachment from groupthink, and the instinct of a lone wolf, and you get a Sigma male within a radar so sharp it might as well be illegal. He'll sense the lie before it's told, feel the energy shift before anyone else blinks, and walk away from disasters long before they trend. While others are still gathering evidence, he's already 10 steps ahead, calm, unreadable, and absolutely unbothered. So what is this sixth sense? And how does the Sigma male use it to move through life like he's reading a secret script? Brace yourself, we're diving into the extraordinary realm of introverted intuition, the silent superpower of Sigma males. And fair warning, once you see how he sees, you might never trust your own instincts again. Ready? Let's break it open. Number 1, he can sense who's draining his energy without a word being said. For most people, it takes multiple encounters, passive-aggressive texts, and emotional whiplash before they realize someone is emotionally draining them. But the Sigma male, he doesn't need a meltdown, a betrayal, or a long talk about boundaries. His internal system flags emotional vampires instantly, no words needed, no drama required. While others walk away from a conversation wondering why they feel suddenly exhausted or irritated, the Sigma already clocked the shift in the atmosphere. The fake smile, the over-explaining, the subtle guilt-tripping, the needy silence masked as deep vulnerability. He senses all of it. His sixth sense isn't just about intuition, it's about energetic awareness, and he's tuned in like a hawk with Wi-Fi. What makes him different is this. He doesn't wait to collect more evidence, he trusts the static in his gut. If something in your presence feels off, even if you're polite, pleasant, or emotionally expressive, he's out. Not because he's antisocial, but because his mental battery isn't up for negotiation. You don't get access just because you're nice. Here's what people misunderstand. Sigma males don't hate people. They hate being involuntarily siphoned. Energy drainers often hide behind charm, empathy, or deep conversations that go nowhere. To the untrained eye, they look sweet or sad. But to a Sigma, they're emotional malware. Small talk layered over desperation, validation seeking, or covert manipulation. So while you're busy telling yourself maybe they're just going through something, the Sigma is already halfway out the metaphorical door. No grand exit, no confrontation, just subtle disengagement and quiet disappearance. He doesn't need to defend his boundaries, he just disappears behind them. And the best part, you won't even know he's avoiding you because he's that subtle. While you're sending follow-up texts like, "Hey, where have you been?" he's already replaced your spot in his life with peace, clarity, and extra mental storage space. In a world full of people who mistake attachment for connection, the Sigma male is the rare breed who can feel the emotional cost of proximity and refuses to pay it. His intuition doesn't just protect him, it preserves him, and if your energy doesn't align, don't take it personally when he fades. He's just protecting his frequency. Number 2, he intuitively knows what not to say in a crowd. He's the guy who can stand in the middle of a buzzing crowd, hear 10 juicy openings for a killer one-liner, and still keep his mouth zipped because he's already done the math on emotional blowback. While everyone else is tripping over their own hot takes, he's processing micro-reactions, dilated pupils, clenched jaws, that tiny inhale someone makes before they fake a laugh. His inner radar tells him which topics will detonate friendships, which jokes will collapse careers, and which confessions will turn a room icy enough to flash freeze your Wi-Fi. So he stays quiet, not shy, not scared, just strategically silent, as if each word costs him a non-refundable chunk of life he refuses to waste. The irony? He probably knows more truth than the whole group combined. He could expose the hidden office romance, the budget numbers everyone pretends to ignore, or the fact that the motivational speaker is plagiarizing TED Talks. But truth isn't always kind, useful, or safe, and he's allergic to pointless carnage. He'd rather watch people reveal their own inconsistencies than hand them the bullets. That's not saintly restraint, it's intellectual sniping, choosing not to pull the trigger because the target is already busy shooting themselves in the foot. His silence isn't passive, it's sculpted. He trims conversation down to razor edges so sharp they vanish until needed, like a folding knife tucked behind a credit card. When he finally does speak, the room tends to recalibrate around him. Half relieved someone said something real, half terrified he'll keep going, he won't. He delivers just enough signal to puncture the noise, then withdraws, leaving the echo to do the heavy lifting. People often label him mysterious, antisocial, or favorite corporate diagnosis. Not a team player. In reality, he's the ultimate risk manager. He knows that crowds don't forgive nuance. They reward whatever lines up with the loudest opinion and punish everything else with viral efficiency. So he lets the spotlight roast everyone else while he lounges in the shade, collecting intel and conserving energy like a battery pack that refuses to power useless gadgets. By the time the chatterboxes realize they've overshared and underthought, he's already slipped away, reputation intact, secrets intact, sanity intact. Silence isn't his weakness, it's his endgame. Number 3. He can feel a system or institution is about to collapse. He doesn't need insider memos or leaked spreadsheets to smell a dying institution. The rot is practically yelling in his face while everyone else is busy applauding quarterly growth. A supply chain hiccup here, an unexplained executive shuffle there. A mission statement rewritten to sound like therapy jargon. Tiny signals most people scroll past. He strings them together like a detective pinning red yarn across a corkboard, except the case is already solved in his head. By the time newspapers announce sudden layoffs, he's traded his stock, dumped the company merch, and swapped the corporate-branded mug for something that doesn't scream impending bankruptcy. Government collapses telegraph themselves too, back-patting press conferences that feel 1 decibel too loud, hastily approved budgets with math that wouldn't fool a toddler, and that eerie calm when officials start saying everything's under control, twice as often as usual. His gut flags it all. While voters argue over slogans, he clocks the long lines at fuel stations, the twitch in a minister's eye during interviews, the sudden spike in technical difficulties on state TV. The writing on the wall is obvious, if you're fluent in panic handwriting. Leaders fall the same way phone batteries die. First the brightness dips, then the apps crash, then nothing. He notices the forced laughter at board meetings, the recycled anecdotes on the speaking circuit, the entourage that keeps getting bigger to disguise shrinking influence. To outsiders it looks like success snowballing, to him it's desperate insulation. When the scandal finally erupts, he's at a quiet cabin drafting next decade plans, Wi-Fi blissfully off. Some call it cynicism, he calls it preventative survival. Society runs on collective hallucination, too big to fail, stable forever. Trusted brand since 1908. He treats these slogans like he treats carnival mirrors. Fun to glance at, stupid to trust. The moment the reflection warps, he steps aside and lets the crowd slam into the glass. And no, he doesn't gloat when the headlines scream catastrophe. He's already bored. Collapse is just another weather pattern to navigate. While everyone else is loading rugs with yet another mess to sweep under, he's planting seeds on fresher ground, sipping coffee that tastes better without the aftertaste of denial. Number 4, he doesn't need closure. His intuition closes the door for him. He doesn't need closure, his intuition closes the door for him. When most people break from a job, a friendship, or a half-baked romance, they schedule a marathon of "we need to talk" texts, interrogation lunches, and awkward Spotify playlists. The Sigma male skips the paperwork. His intuition is a built-in locksmith. The second a situation feels counterfeit, click. Deadbolt engaged, door already swinging shut. No climatic speeches, no TED Talk length paragraphs, just a silent verdict that feels as final as a slammed laptop lid. It isn't heartlessness, it's signal processing. He treats emotional dissonance like a smoke detector. You don't debate the beep, you leave the building. Why beg for closure when your inner compass just flashed unsafe in neon? While others noodle over motives, he calibrates to the only metric that matters, alignment. If his gut says the vibe's expired, arguing with it would be like arguing with gravity. Technically possible, but guaranteed to bruise. Now, outsiders misread this as cold detachment. They imagine him strolling away without a bruise or a backward glance. Truth? There's weight in every exit, but he'd rather carry a clean cut than drag 15 extra pounds of post-mortem conversation. Closure to him is often a stall tactic, a polite way to ration heartbreak with PowerPoint slides. He's not signing up for that workshop, and yes, ghosts of what if do knock. He just doesn't hand them a spare key. If clarity shows up later with fresh evidence, he'll revisit. Until then, he trusts the original ruling, like a judge confident in the transcript. Meanwhile, life keeps moving, bills keep billing, ambitions keep whispering. That momentum is too precious to squander on emotional archaeology. There's also a practical perk. People think twice before feeding him half-truths. They know he won't linger for the deluxe explainer package if the story cracks on impact. It's quality control through ruthless efficiency, a built-in return policy for misaligned connections. Ultimately, the Sigma's relationship with closure is simple. Intuition says door, he says lock. No drama, no board meeting minutes, no tear-stained group chat. It's not a glitch in his empathy software, it's a feature that preserves bandwidth for the chapters that actually deserve him. Anyone left outside can keep knocking, but the hinges aren't listening. Number 5, he trusts his inner pull over people's loud advice. While most people crowdsource their life decisions like they're picking a new phone plan, the Sigma male is already halfway down a path no one else even noticed. Advice pours in, loud, persistent, and always so confident. You should take that job. You need to settle down. You have to network more. But all that external noise bounces off him like cheap Wi-Fi. His compass doesn't point north, it points inward. That inner pull, it's not some vague spiritual whisper. It's a deep, non-negotiable feeling in his gut that slices through the mental clutter like a blade. It doesn't shout, it doesn't panic, it just nudges quietly, precisely. And when it moves, he moves. Even if everyone else thinks he's insane, he's the guy who'll walk away from a secure six-figure job because something about the culture feels hollow. He'll say no to the perfect relationship because underneath the chemistry, something doesn't sit right. He'll disappear from circles where the energy is fake, even if those people have power, fame, or connections. To the average person, it might look reckless, but to him it's protection, survival, sanity. Why doesn't he take advice like everyone else? Because he knows that most people offer it based on fear, ego, or projection, not truth. And Sigma males have zero interest in living a life designed by other people's insecurities. They've seen too many folks follow the crowd straight into regret, and they'd rather be misunderstood than misaligned. He's not against learning from others, far from it. But when that inner pull contradicts the noise outside, he always bets on the whisper. And more often than not, it leads him exactly where he needs to go, long before the crowd even realizes it was an option. Validation doesn't excite him, applause doesn't move him. What matters is clarity, the kind that can't be found in consensus or comment sections. It lives in silence, solitude, and that deep internal place where truth speaks in subtle pulses. And once he hears it, it's game over. He'll walk away from everything safe without flinching. Because in a world trained to follow volume, the Sigma male follows resonance. Number 6, he's not detached. He's just already seen the end of the movie. To the outside world, he seems emotionally unavailable, disinterested, or just plain cold. But what people don't understand is this: he's not disconnected. He's simply done watching the same story play out with different costumes. While everyone else is still marveling at the special effects in the opening scene, the Sigma male is 10 steps ahead, sipping mental coffee during the credits because his intuition already spoiled the plot. He walks into situations with a kind of eerie foresight, a new friendship that's already giving transactional energy. He's scanned the dynamics and knows it'll end in disappointment. A high-potential business partnership? He's already seen how the cracks beneath the surface will widen and eventually implode. A romantic situation that sparkles with chemistry but smells faintly of control. He's muted the rom-com music and is reading the emotional subtext instead. He doesn't need to sit through Act 2 to know Act 3 is a disaster. This isn't some pretentious superiority complex. It's not arrogance. It's pattern recognition on steroids. He's lived through enough human behavior loops to spot recycled scripts from a mile away. And because his intuition is so honed, he checks out quietly. Not out of rudeness, but because rewatching what he already understands is a waste of emotional bandwidth. People call him mysterious because he doesn't engage like everyone else, but mystery isn't his intention, it's just the side effect of deep perception. While most are still emotionally investing in the setup, he's already fast-forwarded, realized how this ends, and mentally packed up. He's not against connection, commitment, or intensity. He just doesn't fake excitement for things his gut has already red flagged. If your story doesn't evolve, if your energy is on repeat, if your moves feel too predictable, he'll slide into quiet mode, not to punish you, but because there's no growth in predictable endings. So no, he's not cold. He's just calibrated. His silence isn't distance. It's discernment. He doesn't waste time on cycles he's already completed. He's not watching the movie for entertainment. He's reading the code behind the screen. And if he's quiet around you, there's a high chance he already knows how this ends. He's just deciding whether it's worth sticking around to watch it unfold, or walking out before the popcorn even cools. Number 7, he walks away from opportunities everyone else is chasing. Most people, opportunity looks like a shiny object, big salary, viral potential, fast fame, fancy title, cue the stampede. But the Sigma male doesn't chase what glitters. He reads the fine print carved into the energy behind it. While the crowd rushes in like it's a gold rush, he's already picked up on the cracks, unspoken expectations, soul-draining compromises, ego traps dressed up as ambition. What everyone else sees as a jackpot, he reads as a velvet coffin. That's because his intuition doesn't just scan the surface, it digs into the soul of a thing. What's the real cost? What's hiding behind the praise? Is this path aligned with his values, or is it just another leash dipped in gold? He asks the questions no one else dares to. What will this take from me that I won't get back? And if the answer doesn't sit right, he walks, instantly, without fanfare. People call him crazy for turning down what they consider too good to be true, and they're half right. It is too good to be true. They just don't see it yet. He senses when a so-called dream job will turn into sleepless nights and hollow victories. He knows when that perfect connection is fueled by manipulation or masked control. He smells burnout long before others feel the heat. While others are busy negotiating their sanity for success, he's quietly choosing peace over prestige. This doesn't mean he lacks ambition. In fact, his ambition is so rare it scares people. It's not driven by applause, titles, or external metrics. It's driven by alignment. He'd rather build something real from scratch than sell his freedom to a glossy lie. To him, a misaligned opportunity isn't a blessing. It's a disguised trap that slows down the real path he's meant to take. And what's truly wild? The very opportunities he walks away from often collapse under their own weight. What once looked like the big break ends up breaking the people who chased it blindly. Meanwhile, the Sigma, he's already somewhere quieter, smarter, and far more fulfilling, building a life that actually makes sense to his soul, not just his resume. Because for him, true success isn't shiny, it's clean, clear, and free. Number 8. He connects ideas that don't logically belong together, and it works. Where most people see unrelated dots, the Sigma male sees constellations. His brain doesn't ask for permission from logic before it makes connections. It just feels its way through complexity like a blindfolded genius solving a Rubik's Cube by instinct. He'll be sitting in silence while everyone's busy talking strategy, then drop a single idea so unconventional, so seemingly off, that the whole room blinks like their mental software just glitched. But then it clicks, and suddenly the strategy they spent months building feels like a cardboard version of what he just suggested. That's the power of his intuition. It's not linear, it's layered. It doesn't follow formulas, it pulls insights from memory fragments, obscure facts, raw emotion, and symbolic meaning. He might connect an ancient myth to a marketing campaign, a childhood failure to a current leadership crisis, a forgotten conversation from 5 years ago to a business pivot happening tomorrow. And somehow, it makes frighteningly perfect sense. This ability isn't some party trick. It's how he sees the world, through invisible threads that others overlook because they're too obsessed with staying inside the lines. While others wait for research to confirm a pattern, he's already acting on the truth his gut fed him days ago. And the weird part, he's usually right. People often ask him, how did you come up with that? But he rarely has a clean answer. He just knew. Because unlike most minds that need external structure, his thrives in creative chaos. He lets disorder speak, and it tells him things no spreadsheet ever could. This is why Sigma males are often underestimated in structured environments. They don't follow predictable workflows, but they produce results that redefine the rules. Give them a mess of ideas and ambiguity and they'll extract pure gold, because their superpower isn't logical assembly, it's intuitive alchemy. And the best part? He doesn't need credit. He's not there to impress, he's there to solve. While others are still talking in circles, he's made an impossible connection, simplified it in his head, and quietly handed everyone the answer. He doesn't think outside the box. He's not even in the same building as the box. Number 9. He senses when someone's life is about to spiral. The average person only notices disaster when the flames lick their eyebrows. The Sigma's smoke alarm goes off at the first invisible whiff of gas. He'll spot a smile that's 3 watts dimmer, a bank card swiped one too many times at midnight takeout joints, a Bible verse suddenly posted by someone who never cared for punctuation, tiny blips on the radar that announce a future crash landing. It isn't morbid curiosity, it's pattern math his gut has already solved. While friends hear "I'm fine" and accept the sentence at face value, he hears the micro pause between the two words and logs it as warning flag #4. He notices the new habit of cancelling plans without a reason, the shift from black coffee to double espresso with whipped anxiety on top, the way playlists drift from upbeat to nostalgic dirges. Every microscopic change clicks into a mental flowchart and the outcome arrow blinks red. Financial meltdowns have their scent too, that first impulse gadget purchase, the casual joke about living on credit, the unopened envelopes piling like white flags on a kitchen counter. He doesn't need to read the statements, he reads the posture, shoulders bending under invisible debt. Spiritually, he spots the hollow glaze in someone's eyes after they trade meaning for hustle culture. He's seen that vacancy before. The body is present, but the pilot light is out. Crucially, he doesn't judge. He's not there to lecture, tweet shame, or write a sermon. He simply registers the trajectory and prepares. Sometimes that means throwing a lifeline, a question that cuts through bravado, an unsolicited job lead, a weekend road trip that nudges them back to daylight. Other times, survival requires distance. He'll tighten his circle because sinking ships claw at anything afloat. People label him psychic, cynical or cold. Truth is, he's just tuned to frequencies most ignore until they're drowning in static. The spiral always sends early postcards. He's the rare soul who checks the mailbox daily. And when the headlines finally announce the collapse, he's not surprised. He's either already steering them toward shore or steering himself out of the undertow. This foresight is costly. He carries knowledge like a medic hearing bones crack before the scream. Yet he wouldn't trade it. For every crisis averted, every friend quietly rescued, he proves to himself that intuition isn't magic. It's disciplined empathy with clarity. Number 10. He feels when a relationship has expired, even if it looks perfect on paper. He can sit across from someone who's laughing at all the right jokes, clinking glasses like a rom-com extra, and know, down to the marrow, that the conversation flatlined 3 hangouts ago. There's no cheating spouse, no dramatic betrayal, no neon sign blinking danger. Just a subtle shift in temperature. Questions asked out of duty, replies that land with the softness of airport announcements. Hugs that feel like returning a borrowed sweater. Most people dismiss that chill as routine or stress. He logs it as a timestamp. Relationship deceased. Warmth last seen on Tuesday at 7:42 p.m. He won't demand a summit meeting or craft a 3-page closure manifesto. Drama is for people who still care enough to fight. He simply trusts the sudden hollow thud in his chest where enthusiasm used to echo. It's the same noise you hear when you knock on a wall and realize there's nothing behind it but stale air. Once he registers that emptiness, he's already mapping an exit route that leaves everyone's dignity intact. No scorched earth, no subtweets, just a polite fade-out that feels as natural as the credits rolling when the movie ends. And if friends ask why he bailed on what looked perfect, he won't draft a diagnostic report. He'll give a shrug so economical it borders on zen. Because how do you explain that you felt the soul of the connection slip out the back door while both of you were still smiling? Trying to justify that would be like explaining color to someone who's never seen light. You either sense it or you don't. This talent isn't cruelty, it's conservation. He refuses to keep relationships on life support for the comfort of optics. Call it spiritual thriftiness. He won't spend midnight oil rehearsing conversations that used to spark by themselves. He'd rather leave the table before the food turns cold and the small talk curdles into resentment. By the time the other person notices the silence, he's miles away, emotionally unpacked, energy uncompromised, ready for connections that still hum with possibility. No bitterness, no ghost stories, just a clean slate, and the quiet satisfaction of honoring truth over appearance. In his world, mercy doesn't look like staying. It looks like letting dead things rest in peace. Number 11, he knows when to stay silent because the truth would destroy you. You've seen it, someone begs, "Be honest, tell me everything." Friends line up like it's a confession booth, desperate for raw clarity. The Sigma male just watches, weighing the request against the fragile look in their eyes, because he understands that truth isn't a light switch. It's a controlled burn. Flip it on too fast and the whole room goes up in smoke. What makes him different is his split-second risk assessment. He checks 3 gauges: emotional capacity, timing, and actionable benefit. If the person is already wobbling like a cheap stool, handing them the full dossier would snap the last leg. So while others mistake bluntness for bravery, he practices surgical restraint. Sometimes that means answering a direct question with a question, letting them walk themselves to the edge at a pace their nerves can survive. He isn't afraid of honesty. He's allergic to emotional corpses. Critics call this manipulative. Why hide the truth? But he's not hiding it. He's preserving it for the moment it can actually help. Drop hard reality on an unprepared mind and you don't get enlightenment. You get meltdown, denial, or worst case, self-destruction. He'd rather the truth be a life raft than a cinder block. That requires timing so precise it feels uncanny. Breakups delivered after the exam, not before. Career red flags unveiled when a new door is within reach. Family secrets revealed when therapy is already booked. He also reads the hidden motive behind the demand for honesty. Many people ask for the truth when they really want reassurance. He hears the fine print. Validate me, don't challenge me. In those moments, he keeps quiet, because giving them what they claim to want would be handing dynamite to someone holding matches out of curiosity. Then comes the flip side, when his intuition says they're ready. You'll hear the click in his voice, see the focus in his eyes, feel the room temperature drop to absolute sincerity. He delivers the truth clean, compressed, and lethal in its accuracy. No cushioning, because now it liberates rather than destroys. Number 12, he never overcommits because he sees the hidden costs others ignore. Everyone else is out here saying yes, like it's a magic word to unlock success. Yes to partnerships, yes to promotions, yes to people who flash potential like a discount tag. But the Sigma male, he pauses. Not out of fear, not out of laziness, but because his intuition is already calculating what's being left out of the pitch. While the world sees offers, he sees contracts, and he's reading the fine print in invisible ink. Others jump at surface-level wins, the salary, the title, the romantic promise wrapped in compliments and curated photos. But the Sigma male senses the energetic mortgage hiding behind the glamour. That 6-figure job comes with 80-hour weeks and a soul slowly dripping out through the bottom of your coffee cup. That perfect partner comes with emotional blackmail dressed as intimacy. That fast-track deal comes with backdoor politics no one wants to mention until your name's already on the dotted line. He doesn't overcommit because he doesn't do bait-and-switch reality. His inner radar detects imbalance long before it hits. He's not seduced by urgency or shiny packaging. He knows anything that demands an instant yes is already trying to bypass his logic and intuition. And that's his cue to pause, investigate, and often walk away. This is where people misunderstand him. They think he's cold, nonchalant, or afraid to take risks. But here's the thing, he's not risk-averse. He's delusion-averse. He'd rather miss out on something average than be trapped in a commitment that drains his peace, time, or freedom. To him, overcommitting is like handing over your steering wheel just because the car looks fast. No thanks. He'd rather walk or build his own. And when he does commit, people feel it, because it's rare, deliberate, and deeply aligned. There's no flaking, no burnout, no quiet resentment building under the surface. He gives what he's fully prepared to give, nothing more, nothing less. That's why he never has to break promises. He doesn't make empty ones. In a world obsessed with doing the most, the Sigma male's restraint is a superpower. He knows that energy is a currency, and overcommitting is emotional bankruptcy in disguise. While others are maxing out their schedules and sanity, he's preserving his edge, and that's why he always moves with clarity, not chaos. The Sigma male's sixth sense isn't a party trick. It's a survival mechanism disguised as stillness. While the world obsesses over what's loud, visible, and trending, he's tuned into something deeper, quieter, and far more dangerous: truth without performance. His introverted intuition isn't bound by logic, permission, or approval. It moves like smoke, unseen but everywhere, and once it whispers, he listens. Whether it's walking away from a perfect relationship that already flatlined, sensing an emotional collapse before anyone else sees the cracks, or silently decoding a room like a living lie detector, the Sigma doesn't need evidence to act. He feels the blueprint while others are still reading the headlines. That's what makes him intimidating, misunderstood, and often unforgettable. He doesn't second-guess what his gut already knows. He doesn't chase what doesn't resonate. He doesn't stay where his soul goes quiet. Because to him, intuition isn't just guidance. It's sacred, non-negotiable intel. And the people who mistake his silence for indifference or his distance for coldness will never understand. He's not avoiding life. He's living in the layer beneath it. So while everyone else is fumbling with filters, guesswork, and crowdthink, the Sigma male stands rooted in something rare, unshakable inner clarity, not loud, not flashy, but absolutely unmissable for those who see beyond the surface. If this resonated with you even a little, don't just scroll away. Hit that subscribe button and become part of a community that sees through the noise just like you do. Like this video if it hit deep. Comment below with your thoughts, your experiences, or what your intuition has whispered to you lately. We read every single one. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share it with them. Let's keep spreading clarity in a world full of confusion. This isn't just content, it's a mindset. Stay sharp, stay intuitive, and I'll see you in the next one.